Princess Zara of the Valaxian Empire always believed she was unlovable. Her crystalline skin that shimmered with violet hues was considered a deformity among her kind. Most Valaxians had smooth blue skin and twin hearts that beat in perfect synchrony, but Zara was born with 3 hearts and skin that fractured light into countless prisms when she moved. From childhood, other royal children avoided her, calling her broken and strange. Even her own mother, the queen, would look at her with pity rather than pride. As Zara grew into adulthood, she accepted her fate as the undesirable heir who would likely never find a mate. She threw herself into her studies, becoming an expert xenobiologist focusing on species across the galaxy. Anything to distract from her loneliness. When the humans first contacted the Valaxian Empire, it caused quite a stir. Their species was young, brash, and surprisingly adaptable qualities the ancient Valaxians found both fascinating and concerning. The Galactic Council decided a cultural exchange program would help assess whether humans could be trusted with advanced technology. Zara volunteered immediately, seeing an opportunity to study this new species firsthand. Despite her royal status, she was quickly approved. For the mission, her mother seemed almost relieved to have her unusual daughter sent away from the imperial palace for a time. The human delegation arrived on a small vessel that seemed primitive by Valaxian standards. Zara stood with the welcoming committee. Her crystalline skin carefully covered with traditional robes. She kept her face partially veiled, as was customary for royalty, but also to hide what she considered her shameful appearance. A human female named Olivia was assigned as her liaison. Olivia had auburn hair that seemed to catch fire in the twin suns of Valax, and her skin was decorated with small brown spots that Zara found fascinating. Such imperfections would never be tolerated among Valaxian nobility. Yet this human seemed completely at ease with herself. Olivia smiled warmly as she approached Princess Zara. "My name is Olivia Martinez. I'm honored to meet you, Your Highness." The human extended her hand in greeting, a custom Zara had studied but never experienced. She hesitated before extending her own gloved hand. The first diplomatic meetings were tense. Valaxian officials spoke down to the humans, treating them like curious children rather than equals. Zara watched Olivia, closely noting how the human maintained her composure despite the condescension. Her respect for the Earthwoman grew with each passing day. During a tour of the Royal Botanical Gardens, Zara noticed Olivia lingering near a rare crystal flower that only bloomed once every 50 years. They were alone for the first time, away from the watchful eyes of other officials. "Do you like that one?" Zara asked. Olivia nodded. "It's beautiful. The way it glows from within reminds me of you." Zara felt all 3 of her hearts skip a beat. No one had ever compared her to something beautiful before. "You must not understand our standards of beauty, then. My appearance is considered quite unfortunate." Olivia turned to her with a curious expression. "Why unfortunate?" Zara hesitated, then slowly removed her glove, revealing her crystalline hand that sparkled in the garden light. "This skin condition I have, it's a genetic anomaly. Most Valaxians have smooth blue skin." To her surprise, Olivia reached out gently, touching her exposed hand. "May." Zara nodded, not trusting herself to speak. "It's like holding a living galaxy," Olivia whispered. Her touch was warm against Zara's cool, crystalline skin. On Earth, this would be considered breathtaking. People would travel across continents just to see someone with skin like yours. Zara could not comprehend this idea. The notion that her deformity might be considered beautiful somewhere in the universe had never occurred to her. "You must be joking. I'm completely serious," Olivia said, still holding her hand. "Humans celebrate differences. In our history, some of our most beloved people were those who stood out as unique or different." This concept was so foreign to Zara that she struggled to process it. Valaxian society valued conformity and perfection according to strict guidelines. Anything outside those parameters was considered flawed and inferior. Yet here was this human telling her that her greatest shame might be considered a gift. Over the next few weeks, Zara began spending more time with Olivia, away from official functions. She gradually became comfortable removing her veil in the human's presence. Each time she did, Olivia would notice something new about her appearance that she found fascinating. The way your skin catches different colors in different lights, Olivia observed one evening as they shared a meal in Zara's private chambers. It's like watching the seasons change on Earth. Zara had studied Earth seasons, finding them chaotic and unpredictable compared to Valak's carefully regulated climate. But hearing Olivia describe them with such fondness made her wonder if perhaps chaos had its own beauty. Olivia taught her about human customs and traditions, showing her images of Earth on her datapad. Zara was particularly intrigued by human art, which seemed to celebrate imperfection and asymmetry concepts that were completely contrary to Valaxian aesthetics. In return, Zara taught Olivia about Valaxian science and history. She explained how their species had evolved on a planet with constant meteor showers which led to their tough blue skin and redundant organs. Olivia listened with genuine interest, asking questions that showed a depth of understanding few Valaxians would expect from a human. One evening, as they watched the twin moons rise over the crystal spires of the capital city, Olivia asked a question that caught Zara off guard. "Have you ever left Valax only for diplomatic missions to allied planets?" Zara replied, "Why do you ask? Would you ever consider visiting Earth?" "Olivia," said her voice soft, "I think you'd find it interesting. And I think people there would appreciate your beauty in ways your own people don't seem to." The idea was both terrifying and exhilarating. To leave the familiar confines of her world and visit a planet where her appearance might not be a source of shame. To see the oceans and forests Olivia had described with such passion, I would need approval from the Queen. Zara said slowly, and the Galactic Council would have to agree. Olivia smiled ill. Help you convince them it's part of cultural exchange after all. Both sides should get to experience the other's world. That night, Zara lay awake, all three of her hearts beating in their unusual rhythm. For the first time in her life, she dared to hope that perhaps there was a place where she might be accepted, even admired, just as she was. The thought was almost too wonderful to bear. Earth's gravity felt strange to Zara, slightly stronger than what she was accustomed to on Valax. She had been briefed on the difference, but experiencing it firsthand made her movements more deliberate. The diplomatic team landed in a place called New Mexico at a special facility designed for extraterrestrial visitors. A small welcoming committee waited on the tarmac. Unlike the grand ceremonies of Valax, this reception seemed modest. A woman with dark skin and curly hair stepped forward wearing what Olivia had described as a business suit. "Welcome to Earth, Princess Zara," the woman said with a small bow. "I'm Director Kelly Washington of the Interplanetary Relations Bureau. We're honored to host the first royal visitor from the Valaxian Empire." Zara nodded, maintaining her composure despite her racing hearts. "Thank you, Director Washington. I look forward to learning about your world." Kelly smiled warmly. "We're hoping you'll feel comfortable sharing your culture with us as well. Olivia has told us so much about Valaxian science and art." The small group moved inside the facility, which had been prepared with environmental adjustments to accommodate Valaxian biology. The lighting was dimmed to match Valak's twin suns, and the temperature was lowered several degrees to suit Zara's. "Comfort, your quarters are this way," Kelly explained, leading them through secure corridors. "We've attempted to recreate some elements of Valaxian design, but please let us know if anything needs adjustment." The suite assigned to Zara was spacious with clean geometric lines that echoed Valaxian architecture. But unlike the monochromatic schemes of her homeworld, the humans had incorporated colors, bold blues and purples that complemented rather than clashed. Olivia helped Zara settle in, explaining various Earth technologies and customs. After the diplomatic team left them alone, Zara finally removed her travel robes and veil. The weight lifting from her shoulders was both physical and symbolic. "How do you feel?" Olivia asked, watching as Zara stretched her crystalline limbs, now catching Earth sunlight and scattering it across the walls in rainbow patterns. "Lighter," Zara admitted. "Both from the robes and from being away from the court. I feel like I can breathe here." The first week on Earth was filled with official meetings. Zara met with government representatives, scientific teams, and cultural ambassadors. She maintained Valaxian protocols, keeping herself veiled and covered in public settings, as befitted her royal status. But she noticed how the humans regarded her with curiosity rather than judgment. There were no whispers about her condition, no pitying glances when her crystalline skin occasionally peeked through her coverings. During a private dinner with key scientific advisors, one of the humans, a neurobiologist named Lily, commented on Valaxian physiology. "Your species evolved with binary hearts, which is fascinating from an evolutionary standpoint." Zara tensed, waiting for the inevitable questions about her abnormal third heart. Lily continued, seemingly unaware of Zara's discomfort. "It suggests your ancestors faced significant environmental pressures requiring cardiovascular redundancy. Many Earth species developed multiple or sectioned hearts. As well, octopuses have 3 hearts, though they function differently than humanoid hearts." The conversation continued with the humans discussing evolutionary parallels between Earth and Valaxian species. No one asked about Zara's condition. No one treated her as if she were defective. The scientific curiosity was respectful, focused on understanding rather than judging. After 2 weeks of official functions, Kelly suggested a change of pace. "Would you like to see more of Earth beyond the facility, Princess Zara? We could arrange visits to different regions, cultural landmarks, natural wonders." The prospect both excited and terrified Zara. She had never moved freely among the public, even on her home planet. The idea of exposing herself to crowds of humans seemed overwhelming. But curiosity won out. "I would like that very much." Their first excursion was to a place called the Grand Canyon. Olivia explained it was a natural formation carved by water over millions of years, something that would never be permitted on Valax, where landscapes were carefully engineered and controlled. When they arrived, Zara stood at the edge, staring into the vast, colorful chasm. The sheer scale of it made her dizzy. Her Valaxian guards looked equally stunned by the untamed grandeur. "It's chaotic but beautiful," Zara whispered. A small group of tourists nearby noticed the alien delegation. Children pointed excitedly while adults tried to appear more reserved. Zara instinctively pulled her veil tighter. Olivia sensed her discomfort but gently placed a hand on her arm. "Most of them have never seen a Valaxian before. They're just curious, not judging." A young human girl, perhaps 7 or 8, Earth years old, broke away from her parents and approached Zara. "Are you from space?" she asked, her eyes wide with wonder. Zara nodded, hesitant to engage. "I am from a planet called Valax." The girl's eyes grew even wider. "Cool. Your skin is pretty through your veil. Is all of you sparkly like that?" Before Zara could respond, the girl's mother rushed over. "I'm so sorry, Your Highness," she apologized, pulling her daughter back. "Children and their questions." "It's all right," Zara said, surprised by her own calm. The question was asked with innocent curiosity. She knelt down closer to the child's level, carefully lifting her veil just enough to show her face. "Yes, my skin is crystalline all over. It catches light in different ways." The little girl beamed. "You're like a living rainbow." Something shifted in Zara in that moment. The simple, honest appreciation from a child who saw beauty, where her own people had seen only abnormality, touched something deep within her. As the tour continued, Zara gradually became more comfortable among humans. She found they stared not out of disgust, but fascination. Some even asked to take photographs with her, a concept that would have been unthinkable on Valax, where her image was rarely included in official royal documentation. During a visit to New York City, Zara experienced something unexpected. A fashion designer approached after a cultural exchange event. "Your Highness," the woman said, "I'd be honored if you'd consider wearing one of my designs created specifically to complement your unique appearance." Zara was speechless. The idea that someone would design clothing to enhance rather than hide her crystalline skin was revolutionary. The designer continued, "My name is Eleanor. I've been studying the light refraction properties of your skin from public appearances. It's remarkable how it interacts. With different fabrics and lighting, I believe I could create something that would celebrate, rather than conceal its beauty." 3 days later, Zara stood in Eleanor's studio trying on the custom creation. Unlike Valaxian robes designed to cover and Conceal this gown was crafted from a translucent material that allowed her crystalline skin to shine through in strategic places. Crystal beads and prisms were sewn into the fabric, enhancing, rather than hiding the light play from her body. When Zara saw herself in the mirror, she barely recognized the regal, confident being who stood before her. For the first time, her difference looked like an asset, not a flaw. Eleanor watched with satisfaction. "I hope it's appropriate. I researched Valaxian royal protocols but wanted to blend them with Earth aesthetics. It's perfect," Zara whispered. "But I don't know if he'd have the courage to wear it in public." Olivia, who had accompanied her, smiled encouragingly. "What about the charity gala tomorrow? It would make quite a statement." The thought was terrifying and thrilling. Would she dare to present herself so boldly before humans and the Valaxian diplomatic corps? But looking at her reflection again, Zara saw something she'd never seen before. Pride in her appearance. "I'll wear it," she decided. Her three hearts racing with equal parts fear and excitement. It was time to step into the light. The night of the charity gala arrived, bringing with it a storm of anxiety for Zara. She stood in her quarters staring at Eleanor's creation hanging before her. The gown seemed to shimmer even on the hanger, catching and reflecting light in mesmerizing patterns. Her Valaxian attendants watched with obvious concern. "Your Highness," one of them ventured carefully. "Perhaps traditional attire would be more appropriate for an official function." Zara took a deep breath, feeling all three of her hearts synchronize in determination. "No, I will wear this tonight." When Olivia arrived to escort her, she gasped at the transformation. The earth dress highlighted Zara's crystalline skin rather than hiding it. Strategic cutouts allowed her natural luminescence to shine through, while delicate earth fabrics draped elegantly from her shoulders. The effect was regal, powerful, and undeniably beautiful. "You look incredible," Olivia said with genuine admiration. "You're going to make quite an impression?" Zara nodded, though her confidence wavered. "The Valaxian ambassador will be there. He reports directly to my mother." Olivia squeezed her hand gently. "Then show him how a true princess represents her people, with pride and authenticity." The charity gala was being held at a historic Earth building called the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Zara had learned it housed treasures and artwork from throughout human history. As her vehicle approached, she could see crowds gathered outside, including media and photographers. The moment Zara stepped from the vehicle, flashes of light erupted from cameras. She froze momentarily, the instinct to cover herself almost overwhelming. But Olivia's steady presence beside her gave her courage. She straightened her posture and walked forward, head high as she had been taught since childhood. The crowd fell silent as she passed, many staring in open wonder. The dress worked exactly as Eleanor had designed, causing Zara's skin to cast prismatic light patterns across the steps of the museum. With each movement, she seemed to glow from within. Like a living constellation, one reporter whispered loudly enough for her sensitive Valaxian hearing to catch. Inside the gala, Earth dignitaries and celebrities mingled with off-world visitors. Zara spotted Ambassador Drix, the official Valaxian representative to Earth. His expression when he saw her was one of shocked disapproval. He quickly composed himself and approached. "Princess Zara, your appearance is—" He began, his tone making the words sound like an accusation, causing quite a sensation. Ambassador Olivia interrupted smoothly. "Director Washington has already received numerous compliments from the human delegation. They find the princess a perfect embodiment of Valaxian beauty and grace." Zara held the ambassador's gaze steadily. "Something she would never have dared do months ago. I am representing our people, Ambassador, in a way that honors both cultures." Throughout the evening, Zara found herself the center of attention, but not in the way she had feared. On Valix, humans approached her with genuine interest, asking about her world, her experiences on Earth, her impressions of human culture. No one stared at her with pity or disgust. Instead, they seemed fascinated, enchanted. Even a human scientist engaged her in conversation about xenobiology, her academic specialty. For the first time, Zara found herself discussing her research without feeling the need to prove herself to compensate for her appearance. The human listened with genuine interest asking insightful questions that challenged and excited her. Ambassador Drix watched from across the room, his disapproval evident. Later that evening, Zara overheard him speaking into a communication device reporting to the royal court the princess has adopted human customs and appears in public displaying her condition. I recommend she be recalled immediately before further diplomatic damage occurs. The words stung, but not as deeply as they once would have. Zara realized with surprise that the ambassador's opinion mattered less to her now. She had begun to see herself through different eyes. The following morning, Zara received a formal communication from Valax. The royal court requested her immediate return, citing concerns about her prolonged exposure to Earth atmosphere. Despite the transparent excuse, Zara knew she had no choice but to comply. She was still a princess of the Empire with duties and obligations. When she told Olivia about the recall order, the human woman's face fell. I was afraid this might happen. Ambassador Drix seemed quite disturbed by your appearance at the gala. Zara nodded. Though I notice the official reason has nothing to do with my dress or behavior. They cite medical concerns. Olivia took her hand. The question is, what will you do now? What can I do? Zara replied. I am bound by royal protocol. I must return when summoned. But will you return as the princess who left Valax, or as the woman you've become here on Earth? The question haunted Zara as preparations for her departure began. In just a few months, Earth had transformed her. Or perhaps more accurately, it had allowed her to transform herself, to see her difference not as a flaw, but as a unique quality, worthy of celebration. The night before her scheduled departure, Zara received an unexpected visitor. Director Washington arrived at her quarters with an urgent expression. Your Highness, I have just received a transmission from the Valaxian Royal Court. You may want to view it privately. Zara felt her heart's race with anxiety as she activated the secure communication channel. To her shock, her mother's face appeared on the screen. The Queen looked tired, her blue skin pale with stress. Mother Zara said with formal respect. What has happened? The Queen spoke carefully. Ambassador Drix has submitted concerning reports about your activities on Earth. He suggests you have been influenced by human customs in ways that may compromise your royal standing. Zara braced herself for a reprimand, but the Queen's next word surprised her. I have also received communications from Earth officials and media coverage of your public appearances. She paused, her expression softening slightly. You appear different, daughter, not merely in your attire, but in how you carry yourself. You seem stronger, more confident. I feel different, Mother Zara admitted. Here, my condition is not seen as shameful. Some even find it beautiful. The Queen was silent for a long moment before responding. Perhaps there is wisdom.
In seeing through new eyes, her tone shifted, becoming more formal. The Galactic Council has been monitoring your diplomatic progress. They believe your unique position could be valuable in strengthening the alliance between our worlds. What are you
saying, Mother? The Council proposes extending your stay on Earth as official ambassador. They believe your scientific background, combined with your new understanding of human culture, makes you uniquely qualified. Zara could hardly believe what she was hearing. You want me to stay? I want what is best for our people, the Queen said, and perhaps what is best for you as well. Ambassador Drix will be reassigned. I await your decision. After the communication ended, Zara stood in stunned silence. Olivia, who had been waiting outside, entered cautiously. What happened? Zara turned to her, still processing. The Queen has offered me the position of ambassador to Earth. She wants me to stay. Olivia's face lit up with joy. That's wonderful news. But I would be the first royal to serve in such a capacity. Zara said it breaks centuries of tradition. Olivia smiled gently. Sometimes traditions need to evolve. What will you choose? Zara looked around at the Earth quarters that had become her home. In just a few months, this planet had shown her possibilities she had never imagined. A place where her unique qualities were celebrated, not hidden. Where she could be both a princess and herself. I choose Earth, she said, feeling all three of her hearts align in certainty. I choose to be ambassador. That night, Zara stood on the balcony of her quarters looking up at the unfamiliar stars of Earth. In the distance, she could see the lights of the city, millions of humans going about their lives in all their wonderful diversity. She thought about how far she had come, not just in physical distance, but in her journey to self-acceptance. Tomorrow she would accept the ambassadorship formally. Tomorrow she would begin building a bridge between worlds, not just between Valax and Earth, but between who she had been raised to be and who she was choosing to become. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new opportunities, new growth. But tonight, under the stars of her adopted world, Princess Zara of the Valaxian Empire stood tall, her crystalline skin uncovered and glittering in the moonlight, finally comfortable in her own beauty. 1 year passed since Zara accepted the position as ambassador to Earth. 1 year of building bridges between worlds. 1 year of growing into her new role and her new self. The Valaxian Embassy in Washington, D.C. became known for its unique blend of cultures. Under Zara's leadership, the traditionally austere Valaxian architecture was softened with Earth influences. Crystal gardens reminiscent of both worlds graced the courtyards, and the embassy hosted regular cultural exchanges that became the most sought-after events in diplomatic circles. More importantly, Zara no longer hid her appearance. She wore clothing designed by Eleanor that complemented rather than concealed her crystalline skin. The fashion designer had launched an entire collection inspired by the ambassador, creating a sensation in the human fashion world. Zara stood in her office reviewing the latest trade agreements between Earth and Valax when Olivia entered carrying a data pad. The human woman had been appointed as her official cultural attaché, though their relationship had grown far beyond professional collaboration. "You might want to see this?" Olivia said, handing over the pad. Breaking news from Valax. Zara scanned the report, her three hearts accelerating, as she read the Valaxian Royal Court had announced a significant policy change. For the first time in centuries, genetic diversity would no longer be suppressed. Citizens with natural variations would be permitted to serve in government positions, previously restricted to those with standard traits. "This is because of you," Olivia said softly. "Your mother has been watching how successful you've been here, how respected you are." Zara could hardly believe it. The rigid society she'd grown up in beginning to bend. It's hard to imagine Valax changing so fundamentally. Sometimes all it takes is one person to show what's possible. Olivia replied. The communication device on Zara's desk chimed with an incoming royal transmission. She activated it, revealing her mother's face. "Mother," Zara said with a formal bow. "I just received news of the policy changes." The Queen nodded, her expression more relaxed than Zara had ever seen it. "Your success on Earth has not gone unnoticed, daughter." The council was particularly impressed by the new trade agreements. "Your understanding of both worlds has proven invaluable." "Thank you, Mother," Zara said. "It means a great deal to hear that." The Queen hesitated, then continued. "There is another matter I wish to discuss. The royal physicians have been studying your genetic variants, more specifically your three-heart configuration." Zara tensed instinctively. Despite her growth, she still expected criticism of her condition. "What they've discovered is remarkable." The Queen continued. "Your third heart provides enhanced blood flow to your brain, allowing for greater neural connectivity. This may explain your exceptional aptitude for xenobiology and diplomacy. What we once considered a defect appears to be an evolutionary advantage." Zara was speechless. This new understanding of her physiology challenged everything she'd been told since childhood. The Queen continued. "We are establishing a new research initiative to study genetic diversity within our population. Your condition will be the first case study, with your permission, of course." "Of course," Zara agreed, still processing this revelation. "I would be honored to contribute to the research." After the communication ended, Olivia squeezed her hand gently. "How does it feel to go from being considered flawed to being studied as evolutionarily advanced?" Zara laughed, a sound that had become more frequent during her time on Earth. "Validating, but also strange. I spent so long believing there was something wrong with me." 6 months later, Zara received a different kind of news. A delegation of young Valaxians would be visiting Earth as part of a new cultural exchange program. Among them were 5 children with genetic variations similar to Zara's. The Queen had specifically requested that Zara mentor these young people, showing them that their differences could be strengths. The day the delegation arrived, Zara waited at the landing pad, her crystalline skin uncovered in the Earth sunshine. As the young Valaxians descended from their ship, she saw their faces filled with uncertainty and hope. They wore traditional concealing robes, but she could see flashes of unusual coloration. Crystalline patterns, scaled textures, all variations that would have been sources of shame on Valak's welcome to Earth. Zara greeted them. "I am Ambassador Zara. Though formality would typically require it, I do not hide my appearance here." She gestured to her uncovered skin sparkling in the sunlight. "And neither should you if you choose not to." Young girl, perhaps 12 Earth years old, stepped forward hesitantly. Her skin had a golden crystalline pattern similar to Zara's, though less pronounced. "My mother said you would show us how to be proud of who we are." She carefully lowered her hood, revealing patches of golden crystal along her hairline. Zara knelt to meet the girl's eyes. "I will try. But the truth is, you taught me something important just now." "What did I teach you?" the girl asked, confused. "That courage comes in many forms. Sometimes, it's as simple as lowering your hood when you've been told all your life to keep it raised." The exchange program flourished. The young Valaxians blossomed on Earth, discovering as Zara had that a world existed where their differences were celebrated, rather than tolerated. They became ambassadors in their own right. Returning to Valak with new confidence and perspective, 2 years into her ambassadorship, Zara received her most challenging assignment yet. The Galactic Council was considering Earth for full membership, a position previously reserved for species with at least 1,000 years of interstellar travel experience. Humans had achieved this milestone in mere decades, their adaptability and innovation accelerating their development. At unprecedented rates, some council members argued that humans were too unpredictable, too emotional to be trusted with the advanced technologies that came with membership. Zara was asked to testify before the council to share her unique perspective on humanity. Standing before the assembled representatives of over 50 species, Zara felt the weight of responsibility. She would help determine the future relationship between Earth and the galactic community. "Esteemed members of the council," she began, "I come before you not just as a Valaxian princess, but as someone who has lived among humans, studied their culture, and witnessed both their strengths and weaknesses." She gestured to Olivia, who stood nearby, supporting her as always. "This human changed how I see myself, and by extension how my entire species views genetic diversity. Humans' greatest strength is not their technology or their adaptability. Though both are remarkable, it is their ability to see beauty in difference." Zara continued, speaking passionately about human art, culture, and science. Their willingness to embrace change, their capacity for growth, even their emotional nature, which some council members viewed as a liability, she reframed as a strength. One member interrupted, "But Ambassador, their history is filled with conflict. Their own planet bears the scars of their wars. How can we trust them with technologies that could destroy worlds?" Zara nodded, acknowledging the concern. "It is true humans have a complex history. They have caused great harm even to their own kind. But they learn from their mistakes faster than any species I have encountered." She gestured around the chamber. "How many of our own peoples took thousands of years to evolve beyond their violent beginnings? Humans have compressed that evolution into mere centuries. Their capacity for change is their greatest promise." The debate continued for days, Zara providing testimony, answering questions, sharing her experiences. Finally, the council voted. Earth would be granted provisional membership, with Zara serving as their sponsor and guide. That evening, Zara and Olivia celebrated the historic decision with a quiet dinner overlooking the Washington Monument. "We did it," Olivia said, raising her glass. "Earth is officially part of the galactic community." Zara smiled. "We have only begun this journey. The next decades will determine whether the council's faith was justified." Olivia studied her for a moment. "You've changed so much since we first met. Remember how you could barely look at yourself in a mirror?" Zara nodded. The memory of her former shame seemed distant now. I was trapped in a prison built from others' perceptions, and my own acceptance of them. And now I understand that beauty exists in infinite forms, Zara said. Her crystalline hand took Olivia's. My people valued uniformity because it was safe, predictable. Humans taught me that differences create strength. Variety creates resilience. The very traits that made me an outsider. On Valax made me a bridge between worlds. Olivia squeezed her hand gently. And what about us? Where do we fit in this new galactic order? Zara looked at the human woman who had changed everything for her. From the moment Olivia had called her beautiful, a new universe of possibility had opened. The connection between them had grown deeper, more complex, transcending professional boundaries, cultural differences, even species boundaries. We are the future. Zara said simply, what happens when worlds collide, not in conflict but in harmony? When differences are celebrated, not merely tolerated, we are what becomes possible when we see with new eyes. 5 years after Zara first set foot on Earth, the Valaxian royal court announced an unprecedented decision. For the first time in their history, the position of heir apparent would be determined not by birth order, but by merit. Zara's younger brother, technically next in line, had stepped aside, recognizing that his sister's unique perspective made her better suited to lead their changing society. The proposal to visit Earth was met with immediate resistance from the Valaxian Council. Elder Moxus, the most conservative of the royal advisors, spoke against it with particular venom. Sending our princess to a primitive world would be beneath her station, he argued. His blue skin darkened with emotion as he addressed the queen. A diplomatic visit should be conducted by regular ambassadors, not royalty. Zara stood before the council, her 3 hearts racing beneath her formal robes. Earth represents a potential new ally. Their technology is advancing rapidly and their cultural perspective is unique. I believe there is much we can learn from them. The queen regarded her daughter with surprise. It was unusual for Zara to speak so boldly in council meetings. Usually she remained silent, letting others make decisions. That she would advocate for herself was unprecedented. Counselor Lyra, a longtime supporter of progressive policies, nodded in agreement. The princess is our foremost xenobiologist. Her assessment should carry weight, and a royal visit would signal to the humans that we take this alliance seriously. The debate continued for hours. Zara remained standing, her crystalline skin hidden beneath layers of traditional clothing, as was proper in formal settings. She could feel Olivia waiting outside the chamber doors. The human had been barred from the meeting, as was customary for off-worlders during council sessions. Finally, the queen raised her hand, silencing the room. My daughter has rarely asked for anything. She has served the Empire loyally despite challenges. She has my permission to visit Earth as a cultural ambassador. The council may advise, but the final decision rests with the crown. Relief flooded through Zara, though. She maintained her composed exterior, as was expected of royalty. She bowed to her mother. Thank you, Your Majesty. I will represent our people with honor. Preparations for the journey to Earth consumed the next few weeks. Zara studied human customs and languages with renewed intensity. Olivia helped her understand nuances that were not in any official records. Humans touch each other more frequently than Valaxians. Olivia explained one day as they reviewed greeting protocols. A handshake is formal, but friends might hug or kiss cheeks in some cultures. The idea of such casual physical contact was shocking to Zara. Valaxians rarely touched even family members outside of formal rituals. The thought of being embraced by strangers made all 3 of her hearts flutter with anxiety. Don't worry, Olivia reassured her, seeing her distress. He'll make sure everyone respects your boundaries. But I wanted you to be prepared. As the departure date approached, Zara received an unexpected visit from her mother. The queen rarely came to her daughter's private chambers, preferring to summon Zara to the throne room when communication was necessary. Her appearance at Zara's door was unprecedented. Mother Zara said, bowing formally. What brings you here? The queen entered, looking around at the scientific equipment and books that filled the room. I wanted to speak with you privately before your journey. Zara waited nervously, wondering if her mother had changed her mind about the Earth visit. The Queen seemed to struggle with her words, unusual for someone known for her eloquence. I have not always been the mother you deserved, she said finally. Her blue skin rippled with emotion, a rare display of feeling. I allowed the Council's prejudice about your appearance to influence how I treated you. Zara stood frozen, unable to process this unexpected confession. I thought by distancing myself, I was preparing you for the challenges you would face. The Queen continued, but this human, this Olivia, has shown me that perhaps there are other ways to see the world, including how we see you. Mother, you don't need to. The Queen held up her hand. No, I do need to say this. I watched how you changed these past months. Since meeting the humans, you stand taller. You speak with more confidence. You seem almost happy. Her voice softened. And that makes me realize how rarely I saw happiness in you before. Zara felt tears forming in her eyes, a reaction she normally suppressed in her mother's presence. The Queen approached slowly, then did something she had not done since Zara was a small child. She reached out and touched her daughter's face, her blue fingers gently brushing against the crystalline skin. Perhaps these humans have something to teach us after all. If they can see beauty where we saw only difference, maybe we are the ones with limited vision. The moment was brief but profound. Zara felt something heal inside her that she hadn't realized was broken. The Queen stepped back, resuming her regal posture. Represent us well, daughter. And when you return, perhaps you can help us see through new eyes. The day of departure arrived. The royal spaceport was filled with dignitaries and media documenting the historic moment. Zara wore a modified version of traditional travel robes designed by Olivia. The outfit still covered most of her body, as was proper for a princess, but incorporated earth fabrics and colors in subtle ways. The human vessel waiting to transport them seemed impossibly small compared to Valaxian ships. Zara hesitated at the boarding ramp, suddenly overwhelmed by the enormity of what she was doing. She had never left Valaxian space without a full royal entourage. Now she would be traveling with just 2 Valaxian guards and a human crew to a planet she'd only seen in images. Olivia sensed her hesitation and came to stand beside her, not touching but close enough to offer support. You can do this, she said softly. And if you decide you don't like Earth, we can come back anytime. The journey to Earth took 3 weeks by human standards. Zara spent much of the time in the ship's observation deck watching as the stars blurred past. The ship captain, a human woman named Samantha, took special interest in ensuring the princess was comfortable. Samantha had white hair despite not appearing elderly, another fascinating human variation. Most Valaxians had the same shade of silver hair throughout their lives, with royalty distinguished by rare golden strands. This is my natural color, Samantha explained when Zara inquired. It's called platinum blonde. Some humans have different hair colors, and they can change throughout life. The concept of such natural variation within a single species was still surprising to Zara. On Valax genetic engineering had eliminated most unpredictable traits centuries ago as they approached the Sol system. Samantha invited Zara to the bridge for her first view of Earth. There it is, she said, pointing to a blue marble hanging in the blackness of space. Zara stared at the planet, transfixed. It was so colorful, so chaotic compared to the carefully terraformed uniformity of Valax. Swirling white clouds covered patches of blue oceans and green land masses. It looked wild and untamed. It's beautiful, she whispered. Wait until you see it up close, Olivia said, standing beside her. The diversity is what makes it special. Every ecosystem, every culture, every person is unique. Yet somehow, it all works together. As the ship began its descent, Zara felt both terror and excitement. She was about to become the first Valaxian royal to set foot on Earth. Her mother expected her to represent their empire with dignity and grace. But somewhere deeper, a different hope flickered. For the first time, she wondered if Earth might be a place where her differences would not merely be tolerated but celebrated.